Hi, welcome. So this is going to be my kind of portfolio website walkthrough. I figured I'd give a little more personalized context for a little bit about it. A little bit about the website itself. I built this following a tutorial back in July or August or so. This tutorial here by CodeBucks, like a six hour video built with Next.js, Tailwind, firmware motion. Really good entry into React. I'd never really used React before. I kind of understood the idea of having components for things. Um, but yeah, the best way to learn something is to build a project that you want and need. So I needed a new website and I wanted to learn React. So it was a good pairing. As I've now gotten into it more and more, realizing that a static portfolio website does not need to be React. I don't need to be using Vercel and have like a serverless setup for it. But that's how you learn. So yeah, let's get into it here. Um, it's responsive. It's got a light mode and a dark mode, which is cool. Woo, it's too small. And all the way up to big, and then yeah, different light mode, dark mode. Yeah, so little modern touches. Um, and yeah, so crafting joy through design. I picked crafting as the verb since I come from a physical product background. A lot of like woodworking, metalworking, mechanisms and animations and things like that. So that's kind of like what my background is in. So industrial design is physical product design. Like Johnny Ives at Apple was an industrial designer. So my expertise is slightly closer to like mechanical engineering, mechanical design, less on purely cosmetic kind of conceptual stuff that also falls into that wheelhouse. I was much closer to like mechanical engineering. The first team that I was actually on upon graduating college was a mechanical engineering team, and I was a draftsman creating technical documentation and testing procedures and things of that nature for the business. So so yeah, Code Wizard, Design Sorcerer. Um, I am a big D&D fan. I've been playing with my group for 8 years now. I've run D&D as an after-school program and a summer camp program for kids, and then also last summer we ran D&D in Bryant Park several Saturdays, so that anyone in the public could come, join, sit down, join a game, create a character, and I would just explain what the hobby is to people. So that was a lot of fun. Just getting to talk to people about it and share the passion for the hobby. A lot of tourists too would come through. A lot of like families with kids looking for free but fun things to do and while visiting New York City. So that was a lot of fun talking to kids from like Canada, Brazil, France, all over the place. So yeah, here we've got a little about me section. Just kind of talking about what my experience is, some of just like how I work and what I kind of strive for in a workplace. Um, and then on the right hand side here, 4 patents. I have a bunch of patents from previous jobs, a lot of kind of like mechanisms, mechanical. One design patent. If you don't, there's a difference between design patents or like cosmetic stuff, and then kind of like normal patents or more mechanical, a mechanism how something works. So as like an inventor. 10 plus design awards. So a bunch of the different projects and products that I've worked on have been given different awards over the years. Um, yeah, yeah, it's cool to be appreciated for a lot of the stuff. So yeah, that's fun stuff. 10 years of experience. I've been graduated college in 2013. I've been working in professional office environments since 2011. And then before that, when I was 16 years old, I started at Ace Hardware in the local Ace Hardware. So that brings me to the experience. So as I mentioned before, my first job was as a draftsman, making at a company that designed helmets for the military, specifically like special forces. So I did a lot of the documentation, technical documentation for that, a lot of drawings and testing docs and um, understanding kind of like what goes into engineering and making like how the importance of documenting everything. After that, went to Zebra Technologies as a junior industrial designer. They do like barcode scanners, mobile touch computers, ID printers. So you'll see a lot of like the barcode scanners at Walmart's and Michael's, AutoZone. And then the little like the not little I guess the like the tablets, the hefty like really durable looking like phones that you sign for UPS packages and FedEx packages. I was involved in helping to design some of those as well. So yeah, it's fun seeing those products out there in the world and being used. And I've been very awkward and asked some delivery drivers like, "Oh, what do you think of this feature? Like, what do you think of that?" And they're just look at me, just have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, "Oh, sorry to bother you." um, but so that was fun. And then after that, went to this company called Proteus Motion. It was previously Boston Biomotion. Small startup doing a fitness machine that used robotics. It used like electromagnetic brakes to apply resistance. So the type of resistance in the machine, there's nothing like it. So that created a lot of interesting, novel solutions, coming up with ways and how people would interface with the machine in their exercises, in their recovery, and then the data that the machine would collect was data that's never been captured before. So trying to understand where the use case is for it. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of work. We I was hired on as employee number four, um, and then one of the guys left, so I was in charge of all of the hardware for a while. So it was the CEO, the software engineer, and me for a while. Eventually, the team did grow, um, but it was a lot to handle. Um, so that's kind of when I started to learn more about software engineering, web design, because the software engineer at Proteus and I would go out to lunch, and he'd be stuck on some problems, and we'd talk through some things, and I would just kind of like help him try to understand what he's going through, and then be a sounding board. So as he explained it to me, he would understand what a solution to his problem was. But yeah, it seemed interesting, and I don't know. He mentioned how I might have an aptitude for it, so I was kind of curious. Um, and then yeah, pandemic hit, world turned upside down. Um, the future of the office and working in person was up in the air. The idea of gyms as a whole for a fitness machine was up in the air. So very tumultuous time, and that's when I kind of started to think about, okay, maybe I'll switch to software engineering instead of industrial design, um, as a way to kind of like try something new and head down a different career path that wasn't so physically based as much. So that's kind of like what the impetus was starting going into this. Um, so another thing was that I during the pandemic, to kind of as a creative outlet outside of my work jobs, I started this little side hustle called I mean Dead Channel, and I manufactured and designed these little dice display cases and travel cases in the D&D community. Like really fancy dice has kind of like become a little like niche hobby as people collect them. So that's really blown out at such a big screen. But so yeah, I designed all these and manufactured them in my little studio space. So it was a lot of fun, but I learned how expensive it can be to try to kind of start up a hardware business. Um, so so yeah, that's kind of Dead Channel. And my so as the reason I started talking about this, I designed my own website, and then trying to do like the graphic design, and it was just understanding how the internet works, because before this I had no idea about coding whatsoever. There were magic symbols on the screen, and somehow that made images pop up and move around, and that was it. So it was fun. It was fun to get into it, and it was fun to like kind of create my own website, and started learning more about that. So while I was doing that, moved over to Union Garage. They were um motorcycle safety equipment retailer, like a kind of like a high-end ish, kind of like world-class retail, selling helmets and jackets and gloves, and trying to educate new riders about the safety equipment, even older riders, just educating everyone about the safety equipment that exists, and trying to make sure that everyone was safe. I've been an avid motorcyclist for, I guess, also over 10 years now. Yeah, I started in college. And I've been in an accident or two, so I really had like a personal attachment to safety gear and making sure that you're it's a dangerous method of transportation, but it is very rewarding, and anything to kind of mitigate those risks was great in my opinion. Plus, I as an industrial designer, I was very into like, yeah, the product and then the design that goes into it. So being able to share that all of my passions with that was very rewarding. So that's when I was also so for Union Garage, I it was kind of like we were maintaining the local brick and mortar inventory, the website, the systems that connected those two, and trying to make sure that, yeah, all of the processes that we went through were as optimized as we could get them to be, so that all the staff knew what they were doing. Um, and Yeah, it was a great time. They relocated from Brooklyn to Bridgeport, and I helped facilitate all that, packing up the whole store, figuring out how to load up the truck. There was a problem with the inventory systems getting severed between um, the in-store inventory and the website inventory. Just totally got cut for some reason during the move. So I had to figure out how to resynchronize all of that data. So that was a fun project to kind of like really get into manipulating data and restructuring it, and making that connection again. So that was a good challenge. Um, and then after that, I was not about to move to Bridgeport, Connecticut. So I moved to a project manager position at Miniature World. They are building a massive model train exhibit. It's very expansive. It's very cool. It's very impressive. The amount of passion that has gone into this project is exceptional. So my job was try to like make sure everyone stayed on task, tried to hit deadlines, tried to contain scope creep as best I could, working with a lot of very ambitious creative artists, and designers and craftsmen. They very much wanted to make it the best thing it could possibly be, and trying to balance that with, we have deadlines to hit. What's the return on investment for doing certain projects? And also a lot of what I did was like planning ahead, trying to figure out like, okay, what's the course of actions that we need to take to accomplish this? What needs to get done first, second, and third, and kind of like, yeah, planning for the future more than just like the immediate what's in front of us. Um, so that was a lot of fun. That job kind of wind down. There was some financial problems with the mall that we were supposed to be moving into as an exhibit. So it's on pause right now. I'm hoping eventually someday this will open up, because the work that was put into it is just incredible, and I want the world to see it. So anyway, that's that then brings us down to my education. Yeah, like I said, graduated college with industrial design from Wentworth Institute of Technology. It's a small technical school in Boston, just right next to Northeastern. Um, And yeah, that was a great time. Learned a lot about um, prototyping and yeah, product design, user research, understanding how people use things, and talking to them, getting feedback. And then otherwise for education, it's been a lot of yeah online coursework. So my web development experience started with the Odin project, and then also doing Learn JavaScript online, which is a great resource that not many people know about. But yeah, it's just kind of covers all of JavaScript. It's very expansive, but also like breaks it down into bite-sized chunks, so it's understandable and it builds really well. Yeah, so that's this first page of the website, and then go over here to the projects page, and a little bit of a cop out, but just to make sure people know that yes, I did build this website that we're currently on. A couple other projects that I've got up are a rock paper scissors game. I should probably rename this to a narrative rock paper scissors game, which I think is fun. Added some like personality to that one. Book tracking website, little service so you can like yeah keep track of what books you're currently reading, what you want to read next, and then like a shelf area for finished books. A landscaping website that I built for my brother, and then a kind of pixel sketching app using JavaScript. So that was fun. And then down here, yeah, industrial design. So this is Proteus Motion. Two of the projects I did for Zebra, and then the logo design that I did for Dead Channel, as I mentioned before. Um, so yeah, let's see. I might as well keep going. I'm feeling pretty good. So let's jump into some of these projects. Yeah, so let's jump into the rock paper scissors one. I think I had a lot of fun with it. I spent way too long working on it. Um, so it starts out with this little screen here. Are you ready to help your community? Yes, I do have music in this, so I very much leaned into the game aspect. Um, so yeah, you enter into here, music starts to play. Revolution, humanity versus the machine. Choose your strategy. So I found a lot of like cute, fun pixel art. So all the different options: direct action, publications, demonstrations, strategy, results. So yeah, if you choose your strategy, the results are down here. It's a beautiful day to make the world a better place. Give them hell. And then the movement history kind of as a scorekeeping area. So as we pop through here, the machine's publications wipe away your direct action. You'll get them next time. What about if we try demonstrations? Ah, the machine's direct action wipe away your demonstrations. You'll get them next time. And down here you can see the wins and losses. And then need 5 wins to sway public opinion. So yeah, if you get 5 wins, or you win. If you get 5 losses, you lose. So we can pop through here. Your publications have organized wins the day you organize words. How do they work? The publications you organized win the day. Oh, that's why there shouldn't be an S here. Look at that. Against the oppressor's direct action. You're doing great. So yeah, we'll pop through here. And what scenario are we gonna get? Oh, we lost. The ruling class have audited away your need for freedom. You're being imprisoned for being poor. Um, yeah, so figure it was fun. So either go back to 1984 and try again, restart the game, or you can surrender and give up. And that goes into this scary cyborg way, and the only way to start over is to refresh the page. Um, let's see if I can get a winning solution here. Come on. No. There we go. Your community is saved. You and your family are to live in harmony with nature, to experience the joys of life. Enjoy the life you deserve. And just frolicking in the field with Totoro. Yeah, so that was this project. The actual coding was nothing fancy, but I had a lot of fun just making it very very personal and silly. Um, so yeah, that's this project here. Used HTML modals to kind of make it feel a little more modern. So that was a fun little like detail that I enjoyed. So yeah, let's close this and oh, that's dead channel logo. We don't need to get into that. Another project here is this book tracking app. So what you can do here is create a book. You can add it. Let's see, what am I currently reading? All right, so yeah, you get here, and then we'll add this to the current section. Um, and then we can also, let's see, let's move this to the stack. You can move them around, or when you're finished with it, you can move it to the shelf. Um, so yeah, this is a lot of fun. It saves the data to local storage as well, so it kind of persists throughout. Um, this is also responsive. I guess it's not doesn't really do a whole lot without too much data in there. Yeah. So this was just like this was actually pretty challenging to get the to be able to move the books to different areas in in the app. So being able to like click on it and then relocate it to a different section. Yeah, it uses classes for the books and the library that it stores it all in. Um, yeah, it was a fun little challenge with JavaScript. So that's what that is. Let me go to this the pixel drawing. You can do whatever, and then you can erase them. And then you can make the grid a little bit bigger too. There we go. And this is embarrassing because it's not working. Oh, because I chose the eraser button. And then you can lighten them as well. I should redo this little thing. Oh, this is a little random. So yeah, and I can clear it with that. So this was another fun one, kind of understanding mouse actions, um, and yeah, manipulating color as well, trying to get the darker the lighten tool and the darken tool to work as I'd hoped they would. Um, so yeah, yeah, another fun little guy, and this is yeah just super basic portfolio website here. Um, Also responsive and yeah, I still need to get him to write that bio. Never did though. And then yeah, a couple different projects and portfolios and different results. So yeah, that's this little guy. And yeah, that's the web projects that I have on here. I've done a bunch more. I've got like 19 repos on GitHub, but a lot of them aren't quite as polished and finished. I kind of bounce around a little too much. Um, and yeah, I guess we'll get into the industrial design projects. Um, so yeah, you can watch this video. Well, like it gives context. Um, so yeah, pretty much everything on screen I helped design or fabricate. This is one of like some really really early prototypes when we like just started out. We had some athletes in to try to understand how they use it, and what does the handle attachment do, and is it giving them the freedom of motion they're looking for. Um, this is a crazy workspace we were in during the pandemic. And then, yeah, this is the machine, so it applies resistance in all three dimensions basically. So these are all the different attachments that I designed for it. There was the single hand, the hip attachment as well. Um, so these are the different kind of use cases for the machine that we were trying to design for. Oh yeah, there I am getting kicked by our software engineer. Oh yeah, bat attachment. Yeah, baseball was our first like big clientele, so it was a lot of pitchers and a lot of yeah bat swings and understanding what feels good and how these guys want to use the equipment. So uh, yeah, well, golf attachment because a lot of the investors who were giving us money were really into golf. So figured we'd try to make some equipment that they would be interested in. Um, yeah, delivered to a whole lot of different facilities and yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of fun. So yeah, this is the single hand attachment. This was kind of what I was initially hired for. Um, Different ways and how it started. This is some of the initial prototypes that they had before I started, and they each had their own problems. Um, so this was a study that I did trying to analyze some video footage of the different handles and trying to understand what the range of motion was. And trying to understand like the axes of motion, what's moving, when, how important is it. So yeah, did a whole bunch of like really rough concepts of different just kind of throwing everything at the wall, trying to see what sticks. Um, and then understanding that like the one of the core problems we were having was the planes of rotation were becoming aligned, which basically negated one of them, so it would feel like it would get stuck, and then the user would apply a bunch of tension, and then once one of the axes would break free, it would then all that force would then swing out, and the handle would do kind of unexpected things and be very uncomfortable. So this was kind of like understanding that and some sketches and different ideas on how to mechanically kind of resolve those problems. Um, this was the very first pass of a handle that we designed. Very overbuilt. We were very afraid of it breaking about a week before I was hired. The prototype that they had exploded in an investor's hand. An investor broke it. So they did not get that money. So we were very scared of breaking anything. So everything was overbuilt, did a whole lot of different testing. Um, and then, yeah, back to just kind of, we realized that this was too heavy, wasn't working properly. So tried to make something smaller and lighter, and that would have a kind of a lot of range of motion to it. So we just started to kind of build everything, and at this point, after we did this first initial pass, we realized that just simply like talking about how like conceptually we thought the product was going to work or how the handle would work, and we'd sit there and we'd ruminate and spend all day discussing it and arguing about it, and then realize that like none of that matters until you actually have a prototype, you try it out and you see what happens. So that's when we started to just I just started to make as many prototypes as I could with everything we had on hand, just like yeah, just throwing everything at the wall. I would take prototypes apart and smash them together. Um, and then upon exploring it, we kind of came to this idea of having this sort of outer ring that rotated along with the inner ring that would spin, and then limiting the rotation of the handle piece so that the outer ring wouldn't turn into your wrists. Um, and then we realized that while doing that, it would kind of get stuck at the ends. So we added these springs in there that would spring load it and return the outer ring to its center location as you're moving around. So yeah, that started to evolve. We tried to figure out different ways of making it function more smooth. The rubber bands here to try to quiet it down. The springs were very loud as they were like expanding and contracting. Um, Try to add more foam to kind of protect the user's hand in case they did kind of smack against some of the metal. Um, and yeah, slowly trying to make the handle more comfortable for people and more durable. Durability was a problem. Um, the use case that I was initially designing for was a low resistance, high mobility, um, like kind of almost recovery, like surgery recovery was a lot what we were talking about. Um, so it would be users kind of like collect the data and just slowly strengthening their muscles up. Problem was the actual customers that we were using were collegiate and professional athletes, and they are doing strength training almost all of the time. So my handles that were designed for low resistance, high mobility were being used in just abused to degrees that I had never imagined for them. So it was a bit of a struggle trying to balance whether we just continue to try to make this handle more durable to handle the abuse, or understand that the use case is different now. So um, at the very beginning, where is it? The kind of like tagline for the company was train and recover the way you move. So that was, yeah, 2017 or so. And then by 2020, we realized that that's not how it's being used. So the new tagline is measure strength and power with every movement. Um, so yeah, strength and power definitely at the forefront. This was during the pandemic, so this is when I got my CNC machine so that I could keep building prototypes and just keep making progress with the design. So this is the new handle that we made. So much more limited range of motion, but a whole lot simpler and stronger mechanically. So you can see here, like this guy, 6'7", just absolutely thrashing the machine, and my original handle was never designed for anything like that. Um, so that was sort of that like endeavor and figuring out how to pivot away and but it was a great experience. Some very cool mechanical design and design for manufacturing, and a lot of user research went into that whole experience of giving a handle to customers and seeing how it does, getting feedback, talking with them, watching a lot of video, and then trying to design a newer, better version. And then earlier, so this is actually one of the products that one of the patents is about, the design patent. So I designed this module. This is kind of tough with the context. So this is that device I was talking about that like UPS drivers will often have that you sign on. So the module kind of clicks on, so you can look at a box and it will understand how large the box is. So you don't need to measure it. Um, so I worked with the team. There was an engineer in Taiwan who helped kind of do the physical design, and then we did. There was an optical team in Germany that we were coordinating with about the size of the optics and the boards and the cameras they were using. So they would kind of give me what the circuitry and the cameras would look like, and then I wrapped the internals with plastic essentially. Um, so yeah, a lot of different experimentation on how it would look and trying to make sure that it was covered, that like the line of sight for the camera wouldn't be impeded on, to make sure the flash wouldn't be impeded because in this little window here there's a flash. Yeah, you can see it in this photo. Um, So this is my first pass, very, very angular, very, very sharp edges. And then version 2, softening it a bit. The boards inside changed a little bit, so we need to sort of redefine the shape. And yeah, so this was a good way. The whole a lot of experimentation about the width of the camera and like kind of how it would click into place, and we'd be able to like rest a user's hand on like the edge of it, so it was nice and comfortable. Yeah, lots of feedback from the engineering team on different tweaks and changes that would happen, and this is the kind of exploded view of all the different components that were inside. So yeah, fun project. Coordinating with an international team was interesting. Having a lot of like, I'd be on the phone at 10 p.m. and he'd be the guy in Taiwan would be up at 10 a.m. And we'd be discussing some of the challenges and how to come up with some solutions. So that was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, another zebra project. This I did the kind of like holster design for this one. These are the different use cases, like personas, I think in UI is what they're called. So the different use cases that each kind of customer would have. So like this retail salesperson would need to survive about a 4 foot drop, most likely. Field service, like engineer, would need about an 8 foot drop, and so would the baggage handler. And then trying to understand the scans per minute was a big point of how much scanning are they doing with the device, because that very much dictates some of the ergonomics that go into it. So these were the different configurations that you could have for the device. You'd have like the naked device. We had an exo skin cover that would kind of round all the edges, but would still give access to the battery hatch on the backside. And then I also helped design the trigger handle mechanism that was in here. I did a bunch of prototypes, and then that's the handle that we landed on. So this is, yeah, some context about the different configurations. So these are the different configurations that were available, and I was trying to design a holster that would fit all three of those scenarios. So early on, we had figured out Velcro is not great for this kind of use case. It deteriorates quickly. So we were trying to figure out different ways of using different snaps and different latch mechanisms. We had maybe like a bungee with a drawstring, anything to make it kind of like adjustable, and then having a belt clip in place so users would be able to clip the holster to their belt. So we were getting really close to the deadline. The manufacturer that we were using um, didn't quite understand. We had asked them. We had kind of given them like, okay, this is what we need. They sent us a prototype, and it was just not what we were looking for. So I went down to Florida to the manufacturer and spent a couple days there with another senior designer, and we worked through exactly what we wanted, different prototypes, different options, and that. So it was fun, like working directly one on one with the manufacturer, getting input, getting feedback. We'd give them a design, and it'd be like, oh, this is great, but this one point is tough to manufacture. Let's see if we can change it. So there's a lot of back and forth in that. So that was fun. Yeah, here's some photos of the final product with yeah, how the handle would kind of sticks out, so it doesn't, yeah, so it holds the device. The channel for the handle. There's a loop there for the stylus if you stick the stylus in when you're signing for stuff. Um, if the straps come out accidentally, there's some elastic here so the gun doesn't just like fall, or the device doesn't just fall to the ground. And yes, ports for the speakers and stuff, and different illustrations of how the different types would be held in place. So yeah, that one's that. And then yeah, this is Dead Channel. This is my personal little project. I did the graphic design for the logo. Um, so Dead Channel came from the opening line of William Gibson's book Neuromancer. There's a book I could have used as an example before. This guy above the port was the color of a television tuned to a dead channel. So the whole vibe of this was trying to be like cyberpunk, sci-fi inspired product. Um, so this is the very, 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 very first thing that I threw together in about 10 minutes for an Instagram logo when I started the Instagram account. Um, and then I started to explore um, more different logos and inspiration. So this is kind of like pulling different inspiration from different elements. So I had Dead Channel, and I was thinking, okay, like it's cyberpunk, um, pulling inspiration from luxury and death, the two hallmarks of a cyberpunk dystopia. So like the old Ferrari logo with like the F coming across the top, Chanel and fancy perfume and whatever. It's very similar to Channel. So Neuromancer takes place in Japan. So I thought about like having a rising sun. I also explored having that also have the skull in the background. I thought it was a little too busy though. And then the kind of outside perimeter was this idea of a skull and its teeth were a cityscape. So yeah, it was just like a fun little thing to mix and match imagery together. Um, so explored a bunch of different things that pulling inspiration from the opening of Blade Runner. One of my favorite movies is this tree for this lad company. So I thought that was fun for the rising sun kind of graphics as well. And for the logo design, that's took a D20 like profile view and then kind of abstracted away a large portion of it. So that's when I got these six triangles. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got to this design that I've been sticking with and using for just about everything these days. Very very happy with that. So this is kind of how I used it on the actual dice capsule itself. I had a little laser engraving on the back. Um, and then yeah, some of the packages this is how I would ship out the Etsy orders. And then I would get different logos, design some like packaging tape that would look very cyberpunk. Um, so yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a fun little project. I wish I could get back to it, but yeah, like I said, it's very expensive to try to do a hardware startup, especially of a product of this kind of complexity. So yeah, there's did a bunch of different versions for this. I right around the end, I was making a wooden CNC version. I was very excited that I got it to work properly. I was trying to make cast versions of it as well. I figured that would like speed up production. I would be able to kind of mix resins and do different exciting things. Um, and yeah, trying to take photos to get people excited about it and get people to know it. Showing off their different fancy dice and yeah. So that's oh yeah, this is like one of the very first ideas, little prototype, um, and started to yeah explore more about that. Yeah, the whole idea is it has just snap open using magnets and pins. So the opening mechanism was a big talking point that I was really trying to get the experience of of using the product and opening it and trying to make it feel like a sci-fi object. Like if Ripley from Aliens was trying to open something up, that would be the feeling behind it. Yeah. So that's my portfolio walkthrough, the different projects and the website walkthrough. Yeah, I'm looking for work right now. Excited to jump in. My other series right now is Armitage Tasks, where I'm trying to build a. Um, it's designed to. It's trying to be a planner without having to plan, I suppose. So there's a whole series on that. It's definitely still refining exactly how it's going to function, but yeah, excited to use that. It's Next.js, React, TypeScript, ShadCN, Tailwind, and Firebase. So yeah, follow along and reach out if you want to collaborate or say a nice thing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.